What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Turning You Hip Hop. Today we're going to be reviewing the soundtrack to the summer blockbuster straight out of Compton. The soundtrack is entitled Compton and is produced and inspired by Dr. Dre. I'm your boy B Rich. Next to me I got my dog Spade.
It's good.
We got Bass Polo.
It's happening.
Before we get into the review of the soundtrack, we're going to give you guys a little bit of the stats, just to let you guys know where the album sits.
The release date for Dr. Dre's Compton, soundtrack inspired by Dr. Dre, came out on August 7th, 2015 on Apple Music and iTunes. Came out digitally first, with no physical copies until August 21st, 2015. But in the first week sales, he was coming in on the Billboard charts on 200 at number 2, moving the first week units at 2,095,000 units. What do y'all think about that? For somebody, especially on the level of Dr. Dre.
I mean, nowadays, when it comes to record sales, it's not, 200,000, that's good, in today's music climate. So, I think he did, numbers that he was expecting to do.
Now, is in 4 weeks, the total number of that is he's coming in at 4,395,000. This is 4 weeks, and this is his 4th week in a row of it being out. So his total sales right now, he's almost pushed in the gold.
He's almost pushing to gold
Yeah.
from 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, well then, yeah, he's killing it then.
Yeah, in 4 weeks he's pushing in the gold right now. And that just, to me, I think the numbers are kind of fluctuated just because it was released digitally first. So some people probably couldn't get a hold on some of the physical copies. So they kind of delayed it a little bit. And if you weren't following up, really paying attention, if you had an Apple or iTunes, you knew that it was out. Everybody that was looking for it for Amazon and stuff like that, they wasn't really sure to where to get it. So I think that kind of fluctuated where it was. But let's get into this music and chop it up. Polo, what you got for me, Mr. DJ?
Man, I like the Genocide. That was like the 3rd track on the album. It was pretty nice.
I think you like that song mainly because it had some reggae in it. Did that have anything to do with it?
No, it's actually a little scratching in it. It's pretty straight. It was pretty good. And Kendrick got down on it. Also.
Kendrick did his thing. I was just about to say that. Kendrick did his thing on that.
I wasn't even a fan of that track, man, to be honest.
You didn't like that song?
I didn't like it, man. I don't know, maybe it's just something about this album. Like I said, it got quality production, quality people on there. You got the Snoops, you got the Kendricks, you got the Jill Scotts, you got all of them people.
Okay, what about Talk About It? Because this was the opening track, so was that a good...
Talk About It came on strong. I like Talk About It, and then It's All On Me is one of the standout tracks for me. It's All On Me and For the Love of Money.
See, I liked it For the Love of Money, and especially, I'm a big fan of Jill Scott anyway.
Yeah. And
he introduced like a couple of new people. Like I had never heard of King Maz on Talk About It, and I thought him and Justice, they came in and did their thing.
Right.
When just the introduction of them, because Dre is actually known for bringing people to the forefront. He done introduced us to Eminem, he done introduced us to Snoop Dogg. So I thought just bringing in a couple of new people actually did it for me.
But then at the same time, he brought some old people. He brought Snoop back. He brought Ice Cube in. He brought Eminem on the track. So that's good.
Did you like the song that Snoop was in?
I didn't like the song Snoop was in, but I did like the song that Eminem was in, and I like the song that Ice Cube was in. Issues, I like that. That was pretty good.
And I had an issue with that track.
I
really did. I had an issue with that track. Like, Cube is one of my favorite rappers. You know what I'm saying? Just to let the people out here know that Cube is one of my favorite rappers. And I just thought that Dre, the times I've seen Dre work with Cube, I think he's always shorter than him on tracks. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. That's just how I feel about it. But I think he's always shorter than him on track. You don't think so? Besides Natural Born Killer, but he was on that track.
Natural Born Killer
but he was on that track though. He was on, but he was on that track though.
And as for Eminem, don't get me wrong, Eminem, he's a spitter. He can get bars for days, but he doesn't really excite me about albums. Him being on the album is not going to move me to listen to it. I didn't really feel that track with Eminem.
I like the way that bass dropped on that when it started. Eminem just started going. He started taking it down the track.
Yeah.
Man.
He actually did, but the thing about it that I think sometimes people get kind of caught up with the fact of Eminem that I guess I'm just so used to his rapping style. I gotta say, like I'm with B, like I wasn't really that impressed because I'm just like, oh yeah, that's what Eminem does.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I had an issue with that beat too. Like I'm a real purist when it comes to that. Like to me, you got to be on point all through the board. Like I need your beat to be on point. I need your lyrics to be on point. Like I need those things. Like Deep Waters for me. Like what did you think about Deep Waters? And that's what Kendrick, that's what Ashton Park.
And I mean, Deep Waters, like I said, the production and all of that stuff. I mean, to me, it sounds like it's good production, but it doesn't sound like it's the production for me. It's not to my liking. I can't really see myself driving around bumping that for majority of the album.
So I guess the main question is, how do y'all think that Dr. Dre did faring with today's music? Because you're talking about someone who's basically a pioneer to gangster rap and
I think
things.
he balanced it because I've actually played a couple of cuts at a party and it got some attention. Yeah.
What tracks were you playing?
I played Genocide. It got some good attention. And I played Animal.
I ain't like Animal. I didn't
That
really.
was with Anderson Park. Anderson Park.
And there was some, and there was, don't get me wrong, there was some songs that Anderson did that I actually did. Like, I liked it all in a day's work. I actually liked it, that particular song. He did that with Marsha Ambrosia, and actually him and Dr. Dre were actually playing off each other.
How about the song with Game? Did y'all like that track?
I like the Game track.
That was cool.
I like
but
the Game track. That's not a typical Game track.
No,
but
I know it was him until I really.
But see, the thing about Game, I think Game is an underrated rapper.
Definitely.
He's definitely an underrated rapper. So I think that his transition to that track, that I think he was just happy to be that Dre gave. That Dre just gave him that call. I mean, that's just the feel that I got. That's just the feel that I got off of it. So how does he fare, Be Rich, like in today's music scene? Or should I say, his collective of work? What do you think about Dr. Dre and his body of work? Does it stand the test of time?
I mean,
how are you feeling on that?
I hate the feeling that I got for this album. You know, because I wanted it to be solid. To me, it just didn't do it for me. I don't know what it is. It just, it's not something that I'm going to probably revisit after this. Like I said, they got 2 standout tracks to me, For the Love of Money, It's All on Me. I'll put those on my playlist, but outside of that, all of the rest of those songs is probably going to stay on the album for me.
For me, once I listened to it, I got into it because I'm a DJ, so I listen to a lot of different.
And I gave you a call and asked you about that. At first, you kind of sounded like you was on the fence.
I was like Biggie from first. I was on the fence, but then once I started listening to it more and more, I got into it. So you might need to listen to it a little more.
See, I think what it is with Dr. Dre, he's an innovator, and then you also have to remember, like, he's not with the rest of these youngsters. Like, he's 50 years old. Like, he's basically the godfather of gangster rap. And I think he's always trying to innovate and push for new things. I think that's one of the reasons why we didn't get Detox. And especially with the soundtrack, like, he was inspired by it. So I think it was kind of thrown together, even though he said he took a year to do it. So it wasn't like something that was probably done like super fast.
You said he took a year to do this?
He took a year to do this.
Yeah.
So he took a year to actually put this album together. And this is like calling people in and interacting and just being inspired, because it's based upon him just going to the set and to the movies and just sitting there and being inspired by it. So he comes back with this body of work. And I think he just called people in and this and that. I would never compare it to the Chronic or the Chronic 2001, because I think those were actually albums he just sat down and crafted and put out. So I can only look at this for what it is. It's a soundtrack. Yeah. So
that's why I can give it a break.
Soundtrack.
Knowing that it's a soundtrack.
Okay. So what you gonna give the rating for the album?
I'm gonna give this album a 3 out of 5. Just because it had, like I said, I felt like he put the time in, by producing some great work, but it's just not the music for me.
I give it a 3 because a lot of the songs were strong to me, so I gave it a 3.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3.5. I'm gonna go ahead and jump out there because I'm an old school and I'm kind of a little bit more open. The more I liked it when I first listened to it, and I liked basically like what he did. Like, would I put it up there with the Chronic and Chronic 2001? No, I wouldn't do that. But it's a soundtrack and just solid work, and just by him being who he is, you get the stamp of approval. It's not a classic Dre, but I like that. You know what I'm saying?
We still looking for that Detox, man.
This is his last album, man. He said it's done. He said it's done. Now we have had a lot of rappers in the past say they retired and come back, so I'm not gonna say that that's just what it is. But he said this is his third and final album.
Right.
He might, you know, if he gets that feeling again, I think he might come back. But, you know, it is what it is. So I'll give it a 3.5. I want everybody to stay tuned because this is a special edition of Straight Outta Compton. This right here was just, we were reviewing the actual soundtrack. And stay tuned, and we're going to get into this movie and give y'all our first movie review from Turning You Hip Hop.
Peace.
MTM Productions Online.com.